It began in the spring of 1997 in a small, uneventful town in New Hampshire, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and strange things don't happen. At least, that's what they believed. Mason Caldwell was only 7 years old when he brought a map to school for a Draw Your Neighborhood assignment, but the paper he handed to his teacher didn't look like any neighborhood in town. It wasn't a sketch of his house or Main Street or the small playground down the road. It was an intricate city grid, complete with labeled districts, a metro line, numbered blocks, and even a legend in the corner. Yacha. The map had been carefully drawn in pencil and ink, with small, neat handwriting and impossibly precise measurements for a child. His teacher, Mrs. Ellison, asked him where he got it. Mason simply replied, "I remembered it." At first, she assumed he had copied it from a book or the internet, though the latter seemed unlikely in 1997. But a quick search through atlases, road maps, and even architectural magazines turned up nothing. No city by that name, Caladrium, existed. Nor did the layout match any known urban planning models. It wasn't just strange, it was unsettling. When questioned further, Mason became agitated. He insisted he hadn't copied it. "It's real," he said. "I used to live there, but not here." That cryptic phrasing caught her attention. "What do you mean, not here?" she asked. Mason only shrugged and went back to coloring in a section of the map labeled Old Town. The details were so vivid, so strangely familiar to him, that Mrs. Ellison quietly called Mason's parents. Mason's parents, Robert and Karen Caldwell, were confused but not alarmed. They'd never seen the boy draw anything like it at home. He was a quiet child, imaginative but not obsessive, and had never mentioned a place called Caladrium. His father joked that maybe he'd seen it in a dream. But over the following weeks, Mason continued to draw the map, not just once or twice, but repeatedly, sometimes changing small elements like building shapes or street names. What disturbed his teacher was that the layout remained consistent across all versions. It was evolving, expanding, as if the city were being remembered piece by piece. By the third week, Mason had added a cathedral and a civic center. He even drew a tall observation tower on the outskirts. "I forgot that part before," he'd said, "but I saw it again last night." The school counselor suggested a child psychologist, and Mason was taken in for evaluation. The doctor found no signs of trauma, no behavioral issues, no psychosis. Mason was quiet, cooperative, and polite, just intensely focused on something no one could verify. The psychologist asked him to describe Caladrium. Mason's words were simple but eerie. "It's very big. The sky looks different. The sun is redder, and the birds fly slower. There's music sometimes, but it's far away. You only hear it when you're quiet." He spoke of trains beneath the city, staircases that led nowhere, and a faceless man. "A man who stands on a corner, always waiting. He doesn't talk," Mason said, "but I think he remembers me too." A local historian named Richard Marsh heard about the case through his niece, who taught at the school. He asked to see the map. He was struck by the map's architectural logic. "This wasn't fantasy," he wrote. "This was urban design, functional, layered, and built on principles you don't expect a child to understand." But what disturbed him more were the strange symbols. Symbols etched near subway stations, forgotten sigils. He recognized one from pre-Roman inscriptions. He contacted a retired linguist. The linguist saw the map, went pale, and asked to keep it overnight. He vanished 2 weeks later. His house was empty. The case faded as Mason grew older. By age 10, he had stopped drawing Caladrium. His parents thought it was just a phase. But at 19, while studying architecture, it returned, not through memory, but in his designs. His professors praised his layouts, but Mason felt unease. The city came back in dreams, alive now. "There were lights in the windows," he told a classmate, "and someone was watching me." He started sleepwalking. The drawings returned too. He woke to find sketches taped to walls, some carved into his desk. His roommate found him in the kitchen at 3:11 a.m., whispering street names. "I'm making sure the streets are still there," Mason said. "They move when I'm not watching." By 2009, Mason worked at an architecture firm. One day, reviewing a residential design, he froze. The layout wasn't just familiar. It matched a neighborhood in Caladrium. The street name? Varon Way. He had drawn it when he was 8. He found the childhood drawing, identical. That week, he got an envelope at work. No return address. Inside was a Polaroid of a foggy skyline. In the distance stood the same observation tower from his earliest maps. He contacted Richard Marsh again. Marsh, now in his 70s, had never stopped investigating. He had a box full of newspaper clippings, letters, and photos, all referencing glimpses of a strange city. Many matched Mason's maps perfectly. Some came from hikers who found towns not on any map. A woman in Norway emerged into a cobblestone plaza with metallic trees and glowing signs. She drew what she saw. It matched Mason's sketches. She'd never heard of Caladrium. The sightings spanned decades. A man in Brazil saw a floating city reflected in the ocean. In 1981, a truck driver near Kansas drove through fog and found a highway that didn't exist. The sign read, "Caladrium Central." Then it vanished. He told no one until a podcast on phantom cities triggered the memory. Mason grew unstable. He stopped going to work. His apartment was found abandoned, filled with blueprints, hundreds of them. In the center of the room, a finished map. It was Caladrium, no blank spots, every block drawn. In the corner, in red ink, "It's ready." He disappeared October 12, 2011. No signs of struggle. Security footage glitched from 2:03 to 2:04 a.m. When it returned, Mason was gone. Only the desk lamp was on. In the light, a sealed envelope. Inside was a second Polaroid. This time, no fog. The city was clear, vibrant, filled with light. Someone had written on the back, "Come home." The drawings were archived by a university. Marsh died in 2018. Among his things was a note, written by hand, addressed to no one. Caladrium was not imagined. It was remembered. And memory always finds its way back.